The method of Ram Chandra. To be one with the ultimate. Layavastha in Brahman. A method of Raj Yoga. Handbook of Meditation. O Lord, God Almighty, but for Thee only we prayed Thy prayer. But for Thee we never had been guided. Where does God dwells? In humble hearts and simple minds. God remains with those who are steadfast on their path. Suresh Kumar Makam. Union is bliss. Separation is anguish. Remembrance is forever. Benediction, God Almighty's mercy be on thee. My teacher, Pujya Shri Raghavendra Rao, of Raichur, Karnataka, India, and my Lord, Mahatma Ram Chandraji Maharaj, of Shahjahanpur, UP, India, our Lord Mahatma Ram Chandraji Maharaj, while welcoming the mankind for the spirituality and for practical experiences, he declares, the end of religion is the beginning of spirituality. The end of spirituality is the beginning of reality. The end of reality is the real bliss. When that too is gone, we have reached the destination. Me and means, I am born Indian citizen. I am graduated in commerce from Bangalore University, LLB. I am a management and financial consultant by profession. I am a serious practitioner of yoga. I am proficient to speak in 8 Indian languages. I write in English, Telugu and Kannada. Family. I am married to the daughter of neurologist. My father-in-law's family owns a business and it is a century-old traditional herbs powder business and trading and manufacturing herbs business family of old Bangalore. And am father of 2 children and my family is a Hindu undivided joint family. My family has a philanthropic mindset and gave land to build a school soon after the First World War. And still my family elders are founder trustees of the said school and high school and as well as my extended family members did participate in freedom struggle. All my family members practice meditation. My family was and is having orthodox values and traditional mindset with the core financial discipline lineage and they were traditionally landowners. Having retail, desi medicinal plants and herbs business as well as fashion goods, kind of supermarket of that times. After I street World War times. Having native banking practices to the artisans, agriculturists and other small traders and my family was one of the lenders of last resort. And also my family had the name as insurance people during those times itself. Even today my cousins are chairman club members in LIC. It may be proper and appropriate here to mention about an incident in which conduct of my family character could be traced. When my father opted for the officer post in LIC in mid-60s and got posting in another town. At that time there was famine and flu, fevers gripped the populace and area and the conditions were most cruel and inhuman and suffering for men and animal was worst and unimaginable. And I was 6 years old and were getting packed and my father burnt big bundle and bunch of long paper sheets removing from iron chest with multiple locks and with curiosity I asked my revered and noble father what were those papers and he replied they were promissory notes with pledge of lands. The riots, agriculturists availed loan facility with us. Now the conditions are so bad. First let those people live and anyhow we were all leaving this town. That was the reply of my father and still vividly I remember that incident and it had deep impression upon me. Discipline and conduct. Core of human discipline means word of honor and financial discipline. Till today since 28 years every check I issued is honored. I issue checks with proper balance in the account. I bank with one bank for my business and I had availed 2 car loans and pre-sanctioned personal loan and on dotted lines on dates those loans were paid. We, the family members are all law-abiding citizens. Myself and all my family members are income tax, assessors and taxpayers. My role as an individual, executive head of the undivided Hindu joint family professional. Justified by me, rather exemplary as my people put it, and they are proud of me. My role as the founder of the Yogic Institution of Learning and Training. In the revered memory of my noble and august Acharya, Shri Raghavendra Rao of Raichur, I founded the method of meditation based upon Patanjali Yoga, modified Raja Yoga as propounded by Mahatma Ram Chandraji Maharaj of Shahjahanpur, UP, India, named as the method of Ramchandra, Layavastha in Brahman, to be one with the ultimate. With the theory and practice, which comprises of meditation and guidelines, and this meditation and guidelines are in the form of affirmations, prayer, suggestions, comprehension, process of absorption, viewing, vikshanam, sound of silence, SMARANAM, VIVARANAM, explanation. Further unveiling the subtleties and intricacies of the heart and meditation on heart. Expressions of the state of living born out of Layavastha in Brahman. A veiled expression. Practice, guidelines of the philosophy of Layavastha in Brahman. Broader outlines and views for the day-to-day living. Objectives and goals, mission of the method. Explanations pertaining to the words used, meaning and sense. By the blessings of my revered teacher and under his watchful eye and guidance, I had penned my 28 years of my meditation and learning. The spiritual experiences on the pathway of realization. As seekers anguished, pathway to realization. Of training under the tutelage of my revered Acharya Shri Raghavendra Rao of Raichur. Due to his everlasting grace and mercy of my beloved teacher and his training in said training, shaped itself as the realization, and that result of realization is the comprehension, and that resulted that the comprehension is assigned to the knowledge, and the knowledge resulted into realization of the comprehension, and this state led me to express it using the medium of language, and I sincerely and honestly attempted and penned it by the kind grace and blessings of my revered teacher, and named it as the nature's secret of human evolution, the spiritual renaissance of the mankind, and the imminent emergence of the Divine Master. Volume I. The beacon light of the Lord and the conscience, the prajna of my beloved teacher. Made to emerge from me, the Kannada rendering of the method of practice. In order to reach every yearning heart and willing heart for God realization with the practical spirituality, with the experience as backbone, cutting across the boundaries of nations, sex, gender, color and language, and upholding one thought, human, and God, bridging the gap with a practical method, easy to adopt and by anybody can adopt and anywhere can be adopted and as well as any time can be adopted and practice, and the needed qualification criteria is your willingness to have nothing else and no fee and no charge. Hence in the year 2006 I had created 4 blogs and 1 web page on internet for the book of Seekers Anguished, Pathway to Realization, to spread the awareness of practical spirituality. 1. makamsureshkumar.blogspot.com 2. sureshkumarmakam.blogspot.com 3. sureshkumarmakam.googlepages.com 4. suresh@sulekha.com. 5. Web page. The blogs received and continue to attract commendable traffic of unique visitors, and unique visitor in the parlance of cyber language is the one who visits once only, and if the visitor visits again for the calculation of traffic, the concerned visitor measure of count is one only. During the December 2006 The traffic was so much that I used to receive calls from different people from different areas and countries that they were unable to get connected to the blog, and the blogspot managers wrote a letter to me in the month of January 2007 stating that they were very keenly observing a unique visitor traffic on day-to-day basis and found the genuine contents and removed 600 blogs. In order to provide need space to my blog and extended the bandwidth, and on that day around 8,000 hits of unique visitors in one single day visited the blog, and that had broken the record of hits, even surpassing the porn site hits. Again in the month of May 2007 I was in receipt of another letter from the managers of Blogspot Co. Mr. Ahmed and Mr. Jacob stating that my blog has received more than 10% or 25,000 hits, record-breaking hits, and this I am mentioning out of memory, and I had kept only my letter to them in 2 to 3 times my system broken down, erasing entire data, and I had to change the systems itself. In the month of June one person from Gulbarg called me over my mobile and told me, "Sir, I am 165,789 th visitor to your site. The unique visitor who visits my site stays 7.5 minutes average at the site, and the said visitor downloads entire content from the blog, and again he never finds the necessity to visit the site unless I uploaded new content. There was no necessity for the visitor to visit. Per month more than 2,000 people are taking my mail ID after visiting my profile. The internet browser only 5% to 10% only visits the profile in 24 hours of a day. Upon entire globe there are some people who are logged to my blog, and there are readers in every country wherever there is internet facility. With the mathematical sense, the word I am phrasing the mean word here to arrive approximate total visitors to the blog will be in maybe in double digit or treble digit of millions of people WHO visited the blog. I have been providing with the copies of my writings to ranging from Supreme Court Lordships, Chief Justices of High Courts, High Court Lordships, Lokayukts, District Judges and Lawyers, DGPs, Lawyers, Senior Counsels, Educationalists, Scientists, Doctors, Bankers, Managerial Cadre, Senior Managers, Divisional Manager, Regional Manager and Chairmen and Insurance People, Professors, HR Management People, Traders, Businessmen, Mall Owners, Government Officers, Exporters, Common Man, and as well as housewives and philosophers. I am in receipt of an opinion by Dr. Krishnamurthy, aged 85 years, former Professor of Philosophy of Sanskrit, from Bangalore University and writer of 85 books in Sanskrit, English and Kannada, and the said professor is an advisor to Tirumal Tirupati Devasthanams for the translation works of Vedas, a testimony. AM enclosing. Till date approximately I had distributed more than 2,000 copies, and they are free of cost. In thousands I had sent emails of my writings. In thousands I had given CDs to the people of my writing. My writings are getting translated in France for the French language. And it is halfway through. Some people are initiated the translation in Tamil language. Some people are initiated translation in Telugu language. I myself initiated the translation for HINIDILANGUE. In KANNDA we are a bit ahead of others, and I myself is rendering the work in KANNDA. I placed open invitation upon my blogs to translate it in any language, and it is free of cost, and only those who are interested in translation has to inform me prior and should keep in touch with me to get the right translation of the meaning and sense of expressions. In order to understand me by myself, I have to understand how I undertook training on the path of God realization and where from the source begins and how great those personalities and to know. Only way is to write backwards of my life, and that is as follows. The roots for my writing. The base for my writings and the training and training module originated from Mula Purusha. Adi, Guru Mahatma Shri Ram Chandra of Fatehgarh, UP, India, the Divine Light. Mahatma Shri Ram Chandraji Maharaj. Babuji, in the revered memory of Samarth Sadguru Shri Ram Chandraji Maharaj. Lalaji founded the Shri Ram Chandra Mission in the year 1945 and registered it under the Societies Act of UP, India, to serve the mankind and to assist the sincere seeker on the path of God realization, modifying and adjusting suitably to the present-day man and to his spiritual needs, and kept a system of practice in a dynamic state and kept open the spirituality for further researches for centuries. Shri Babuji Maharaj perfectly subscribed himself to the humanity abiding for the principles of human as a just human, and implicitly followed the doctrine of training only to uphold the dignity and decorum of human institution and institution of training. And he stood on the path of practice unerring and unwavering on the prescribed dotted lines of training module laid down by his master, and the result is as spelt by his master as follows. He placed his master in him and also before him and meditated that his master is only meditating upon himself, and continued this method of meditation. Other than his master is unaware of any other thing. If the remembrance of his master is not there, he used to say that his breath will stop and his heart stops its beat. Inhalation and exhalation is remembrance only, and the remembrance is Lalaji Sahib. Shri Babuji Maharaj, being the ablest disciple of the Adi Guru, adhered to the discipline enforced by his master and used to send his diary narrating his spiritual experiences and his state to his master. One night Shri Babuji saw his master in a dream. He saw that his master merged himself with his worthy disciple and said, Man tu shudam, tu mean shudi, man tan shudam, tu jan shudi, takas na goid bad azim, man digram tu digadi. I became you and you became me. I became body and you became soul. So that after this none could say that I and you were different. To see God in human form is the deep desire of, and that deep desire of timeless times got saturated by the very timeless times of mankind and just turned to the ultimate, and when the turning completed in full and total, the very ultimate started oozing out to strengthening the saturation of complete turning. This oozing truly could be named as true blessings in real sense, and this blessing transformed that state of human wish as prayer, and the ultimate accepted and granted the wish. Hence it is the convenience and concession given to the mankind by the ultimate to see him, feel him, experience him as human, amongst them as co-human. The I is nothing but he alone, and that he is nothing but the ultimate, and the ultimate is nothing but Ramchandra in the human form, and Ramchandra says he is insan. Mahatma Ram Chandra founded the Sahaj Marg system of practice, and a brief about the said sadhana as follows. Mahatma Ram Chandra has expounded a new system of sadhana which is known as Sahaj Marg, or the natural path of realization. The system, though originally based on the fundamental principles of Raja Yoga, is, in its practical aspect, almost a complete diversion from the set old path known by the name of yoga. Realization being an extremely subtle subject, quite unconnected with physicality or materialism, must needs to be taken in its true sense. The incorporation of physical or material adjuncts in this most subtle science under the old system of yoga amounts to adulteration. which depreciates its real value. Sahaj Marg rejects all these imposed inclusions as superfluous and even detrimental. It emphasizes close adherence to the basic purpose and provides straightaway means which easily practicable in the ordinary routine of life today. In this respect, Sahaj Marg rightly claims to be a new school of philosophical thought or a darshan. Mahatma Ram Chandra had invented and re-established the means of transmission, the divine impulses by a trained hearts, and his greatest invention on the path of spirituality is central region, hitherto never ever known and able to reach by any body, in that too physically living with the human body and thereafter reaching the highest point of human approach. As profound by him but still continue to live as co-human, and this is unheard in the annals of human spiritual history in utilizing the thought power to achieve this tall and huge goal. My beloved teacher, Acharya Deva, Shri Raghavendra Rao, has realized that truth, the truth, is Mahatman Ramchandra, is God, the Brahman, the ultimate, in human form. My beloved Acharya Deva came into contact with Mahatma by reading the review in the Hindu English daily newspaper about the book Reality at Dawn, written by Mahatma Ram Chandra, and got impressed and convinced with the review in viewpoint of the review in clarity of the issue of God and God realization for human and its necessity. Hence my beloved Acharya Deva wrote a letter dated the 21st of February 1955 requesting the literature in the form of books from Mahatma Ram Chandra. Accordingly, those literature was sent by Mahatma Ram Chandra to Gulbarg, where my beloved Acharya Deva was working as a lecturer in the government polytechnic. My beloved Acharya Deva deduced in his lucid thinking after going through the literature and understanding being in total and complete, and that deducing evolved the true and transparent comprehension about below mentioned issues. God realization, human and life and living as human. Books and reading for the above purpose. Necessity of purpose. Goal of human life. Practice. Path and method. Guidance. Help and support. In the ocean of understanding and in the deep depths of comprehensions. At the core of the comprehension, my beloved Acharya Deva found pristine pure pearl of unparalleled. And, the one, and, the only one, Mahatma Ram Chandra, the God, the Brahman, the ultimate. In human form, and human as well as humane too. Thereafter sometime only my beloved Acharya could meet Mahatma at Shahjahanpur, UP, India, and formally got introduced to the system of practice. After duly granting him the perfect command and control, and made him the very source of pranahuti, to train the seekers on the path of God realization for the method of Sahaj Marg, and was appointed by the Mahatma as the trainer with full permission to transmit the divine impulse, pranahuti, pransya pranha. My beloved teacher had penned during his lifetime some works, and they are as follows. In English, Panoramic View of Sahaj Marg, Call of the Fellow Travelers, The Commentary on 10 Commandments of Sahaj Marg. English translation from original work Urdu by in Mahatma Shri Ram Chandra. In Kannada, Sahapathikana Kare, Kannada translation. Pujya Babuji Yavara Patragalu. The Lord Mahatma Shri Ram Chandraji Maharaj of Shahjahanpur, UP, India, had penned the following works. The method of practice, Mahatma Ram Chandra named it as Sahaj Marg, and following the works he brought for the good and well-being of the mankind, and they are as follows. Reality at Dawn. In English, Efficacy of Raja Yoga in the Light of Sahaj Marg. In English, Commentary on 10 Maxims of Sahaj Marg. In English, Towards Infinity. In English, Sahaj Marg Philosophy, in English. Voice, Real, Volume I, in English. Voice, Real, Volume 2, in English. Autobiography of Ramchandra Volume 1, in English. Messages Eternal, Lectures, Speeches, Messages, Articles, in English. During his presence with physical body, Mahatma published his autobiography in English. Mahatma founded the method of practice and named it as Sahaj Marg, and this method comprises of goal, God realization. To achieve the goal, Mahatma envisaged the means, and they are as follows. Prayer. O Master, Thou art the real goal of human life. We are yet but slaves of wishes, putting bar to our advancement. Thou art the only God and power to bring me up to that stage. Meditation. Begin the meditation with the prayer. Meditation is on heart. Guidelines for meditation. Take a supposition that the divine light presents in the heart, and heart means where you feel heartbeat. Sitting in an easy and comfortable same posture. Before sunrise. After duly observing the morning ablutions. For about 45 minutes to 1 hour. Cleaning. After sunset and after the day's long work is over, an aspirant is requested to perform this process of cleaning. Sitting in an easy and comfortable same posture. Alone. The aspirant, by applying his will, should cleanse himself with the following suggestions. All sorts of grossness, solidities, impressions, wasteful thoughts, complexities, dirt and disease and darkness, going away from him in the form of smoke and vapor through his back. And he is getting cleansed. Aspirant has to exert his will and draw out from the end portions of his body and throw away. Through the back. Bedtime prayer. An aspirant is requested to snatch 15 minutes of time before going to bed to sleep. Sitting in supplicant and prayerful mood. Uttering once or twice mentally the prayer. Seeking pardon for the wrongs done knowingly or unknowingly during the wakeful state. In the prayerful state, and acquire the sleep and continue to rest in the same state. Constant remembrance. An aspirant is requested to maintain the link with divine during the wakeful state by a suitable method which is appealing and convenient to him, so as to have the prajna of divine, the Master's everlasting presence, in the transmission, pranahuti, parnasya pranha, for the support and help of the aspirant. This system of practice is based upon thought and thought power. The objectives of Sri Ramchandra Mission are as per the guidelines of the Constitution of the Mission. Adi, Guru, Mula Purusha, the Divine Light, Mahatma Shri Ram Chandraji Maharaj of Fatehgarh, UP, India, penned a work in English and under the name of Sant Mat, and he used to prescribe japa and dhyan, Om, on heart and with the help of Gayatri Mantra. For God realization, and his help is to come in the form of transmission, the divine impulse from him. He used to undertake the inner cleansing and making of the individual. Sri Lalaji Maharaj considered spiritual perfection to be based on 3 things. Love for the Master, satsang with the Master, and obedience to the Master. Good and Supatra disciples were not given any theoretical education but were asked only to attend the satsang. Training was imparted according to the capacity of the disciples. Some of them were directed to pursue Surat Shabda Yoga. Others were asked to meditate on their heart, while mantra japa was prescribed to some, and the rest were simply asked to perform certain karmas. Stress was, however, laid on receiving the grace of the Master. Participating in satsangs and meditation on the heart. Sometimes japa of Om on the heart was also prescribed. By all or any of these practices, vibrations started and sound, Shabda, was set in motion. When this condition was created, Sri Lalaji Maharaj asked the practicants to constantly remain hearing them. People of any caste or creed, followers of any religion whatsoever, who had a thirst for reality could get training from him. He employed different methods for training different persons. Sometimes he asked them to meditate on any person or object which they liked most he believed in. Religious books of all the dharmas and respected all the saints. His motto was to follow the same dharma in which one was born. Swadharmao nidhnam shreya. Para dharmo bhayaveha, Bhagavad Gita. Excess of japa and tapa were not liked by him. He preferred the middle way and regarded the meditation on the heart as the real sadhana. He attached great importance to prayer. But it was not to be for material gain. He himself constantly prayed for the soul of this world. In his opinion, every aspirant must have a guru. But in selecting one, all precautions should be exercised. But after one has found a guru, what an aspirant has to do is only to surrender to the guru as if he was a dead body in the hands of a dresser. For removing various complexities of the heart, Lalaji Sahib asked the satsangis to make friends of their enemies and the persons whom they dreaded, and directed them not to do to others which they themselves did not wish to be done by. He considered love to be the greatest tapas. The following is the book written in Urdu by Sri Lalaji Maharaj. 1. Truth Eternal, translated into English by S. A. Sarnad. God and God realization is for human with definitions at a given point of time, by the given personality, after duly taking into consideration of the times, situation of the very human. Structures. The means and structured means are treated as method, and uses method for attaining the laid purpose and goal. Those methods certainly and invariably found usage of under the broad classification of means. Shabda, sound of silence. Mantra, Jyoti, Tejus. Prema, love. Sunyatha, null state. Expressedly or implied. Forms, no forms, followed by shapes. Colors, hues and shades. Vamachara and Yoga, Prakriti and Purusha. And the faculties of the human used are for the application of the method are thought, conscience, Chaitanya, and mind, in its 4 levels. Chitta, Buddhi, Manasu, and Ahankar, self, and I, and applying the defined states of human, physical, mental, psychic and spirit, along with its needs ahara, nidra, bhaya, and matuna, and the vital organs put to direct usage are brain, the seat of mind, the heart, the seat of divinity, spirit and life, the liver, source of physical essence and chemicals, the lungs, huge combustion source, Vayu Jivotamma, lighting up source. By adopting certain posture, back, spinal column, central nerve system and motor nerve system and lower back including stomach and other organs put to use, while the application is in progress with the help of the means by the human. The above mentioned any, for the laid purpose to achieve. The effects of applied means get reflected upon him in entirety at the very first instance itself. And for the practitioner may or may not be visible or unable to interpret in detail all the effects. Those effects may be congenial or non-congenial, helpful or harmful, proper or improper. The practitioner can only be in a position to say that some change is there. Unable to say anything, as he is indulged with one additional or in a new kind of activity which is added and due to that he is other than his usual self. Then and here comes the need and necessity of guide and guidance. Help and support, sound and proper method. Difference and distinction is the way the nature adopts to exhibits itself and changes her signature, and nothing remains same in the gigantic activity of the nature. Dynamism and dynamic are primary characteristic of the nature. Hence the method of practice and means are also created and shaped to retain this very quality in. Hence the necessity of continuous research in this field is also a must, because everything is in the state of change, and everything is in the state of momentum, rather never stagnant. Physically also, within physicality also, in and around also. To keep the conscience alive and lively is the necessity, and it is possible to achieve that with the knowledge and research. And knowledge is the conscience keeper, and it is with the usage of language, and the language is nothing but sound, and sound is born out silence. In other words, sound is sound of silence, and this abreast of waves of knowledge and research to keep men are necessity, and those men are not accidentally born out of sheer necessity, but born as prodigal sons of the Mother Nature. The above-mentioned retrospection of my life is a clear title. Contents: Introduction, Letters of Dr. T. S. Krishnamurti, 05. Simply Doing Simple Things. 11. Affirmations. 13. Affirmations, Comprehension and Purpose. 18. Practice of the Method. Point 29. Introduction. Vidyasagara. Dr. T. S. Krishnamurti, M.A. Ph.D. Prof. of Sanskrit. RETD. Former Member of Academic Council and Senate. Bangalore University. Simply Doing Simple Things. Simplicity of the simple tasks is the result of par excellence of huge efforts. Simplicity itself is the veil. It gives slip to perceive. The surface is so smooth. You slid. No tangible grip to hold. Hence we miss the bus. Understanding becomes non-existent, i.e., the destination. As we miss the bus, we cannot reach the destination. Simple tasks is the result of huge efforts par excellence of sound mind. Sharp intellect. Intelligent doing. To understand, let us examine the elucidation of a simple event of games. To throw the ball. To catch the ball, to hit the ball and run is all what I understood cricket is. Take the stick, hit the ball, make a goal is all involves in the game of hockey. Take the ball, make the goal, that is all about football. To hit the ball is all about tennis. The simple acts of the game born out of most complex, complicatedly interwoven conditions. So simplicity or simpleness is always a smooth tip of the iceberg only. Everybody without exception can do the above tasks. They can catch the ball. They can throw the ball. They can hit the ball. And they can run. They can hold the stick. They can make a goal. They are all simple tasks. All are capable of doing. But if you ask them to do in a specific way under the situation of the circumstances, only few can do that. Why? To do in a specific way is all about. Specific way gives birth for learning, understanding, studying and doing while applying. It means teaching is essential and training is a must. Repetitive doing continuously is called practice. To make one to do is called guidance, and doing intelligently you need sharp intellect. To have sharp intellect, unless you have a sound mind, it is not possible. Then comes the fitness of the body too. All put together with a dedication and devotion, with the sport of spirit. If you play the game in, it is possible to achieve the par excellence resulting into simplicity while doing the simple tasks. That simple task is throwing a ball, catching a ball, hitting a ball and running and making a goal. This simple task gave birth to innumerable disciplines of science, and it shaped that innumerable sciences. To quote some, different specialists are born to train for throwing ball. To begin with, they guided what the ball should be, how the ball should be, etc. And techniques have developed, skills are evolved. They engineered all these things. Connectedly it affected medical science, orthopedic medical science, sports medicine and food and beverages, and also an individual section called counseling, orienting, psychological mentoring, sportive spirit harnessing in sleep. Number of profiles are evolved for simple tasks. Just turn to the heart. Engage the mind. View the Lord and get absorbed in Him are indeed simple tasks. But when attempt to put into practice in the specific way, there comes the need of elucidation, knowledge. To do in a specific way you need a training. To do and remain steadfast of doing you need guidance. To check the unwarranted growth, deviations or diversions. Trimming and pruning is also a need. To do that, ever watchful eye of an observer is needed and his association is essential. Affirmations. Affirmation means reiterating to yourself the eternal truth. The existence of Brahman and you is the eternal truth. You means human, i.e., Mrityurma Amritangame. Satya Sankalpa, the oath of truth. In that confluence of holinessness, of thy presence, Adi Guru, of thou present, Babuji Maharaj, of thee the revered most Raghavendra. In that confluence of holiness, present are we by thy command. Accordeth is thee, may to adopt. Of thee the revered most's revelation. Of the meditation. Of the practice of affirmation. With the prayer of submission. To be one with the ultimate. In form worship of the ultimate. The method of Ram Chandra. The beginning made. At the onset of conclusion of the meditation revisited their holy presence. Revision of the holiness a submission was made. Grant obtained of nullification of lapses in adoption of the practice. Please strengthen my resolve not to repeat the same. Make me steadfast on the path. I pray to thee to accord the same. With the prayer, I conclude the session. Recitation with the devotion is the surest means to experience the presence of Gurudeva, who is already present with you, while you gently turning to the heart, a couple of times, till the devotion is filled up to the brim of the heart. Continue the Nama Smarana of Gurudeva, Raghavendra, Raghavendra, Raghavendra. After accomplishing the devoted state with a heartfelt prayer, experience the eternal presence of Adiguru Mahatma Sri Lalaji Maharaj, Lord Ramachandra, Gurudeva Raghavendra. After duly obtaining their permission to present in their holy, august and noble house and got accorded the permission to practice the meditation in their holy presence, His Holiness Gurudeva Acharya Raghavendra's ray of grace transformed as a light. The light oozed out light got transliterated. The birth of method of meditation taken place. In thy presence, fragrance filled, I am presenting to you all the adaptation of my practice. Accord me the permission, please. I am beginning my meditation with affirmations. The Lord is present. By the command of the Lord Sri Babuji Maharaj, we are all meditating. Now by the kind grace, love and will of the Lord Sri Babuji Maharaj, my Acharya Deva Mahatma, Samarth Sadguru, Paramapujya Sri Raghavendra Rao Sahib is emerged and felt. My humble salutations and prayers to thee. Benign is your presence. His will is formed in the process of making me in the place to exist as proper and befittingly so. As to sit before him and to meditate is initiated. In this waiting period, engage your mind with the smaran of Raghavendra, Raghavendra, and continue for a while, till sufficient strength is developed in the smaran. And also, by the way and means of the process of cleansing, purging and purification is initiated. And all sorts of grossness, impressions, wasteful thoughts, complexities, impurities, dirt and diseases, darkness and solidities, i.e. mala, vikshepa, avarana, are going away from my constitution in the form of smoke and vapor through my back. Application of seeker's will to be made, and he has to exert his will to remove the mala, vikshepa, Avarana by taking out from the end portions of his body and throwing away from his back. With this supposition and experiencing and realizing the state as, my here is getting cleansed. My here is cleaned. I am getting cleansed and cleaned. The place is also getting cleansed and cleaned. This initiated process of making me and the place to exist as proper and befittingly, so as to sit before him and to meditate, is completed. The state is emerged, felt and continued. It is the Lord Shri Babuji Maharaj who is conducting this meditation session in form and real. I am sitting before him and I begin the meditation. By that very commandment of the Lord Shri Babuji Maharaj, we are all being seated in the ocean of his grace and meditating, and the grace is flowing in the form of silent currents through us. The flowing grace is flowing and taking away all sorts of impurities and wasteful things from us as well as from the place. We are getting cleansed and we are cleaned. The place is also getting cleansed and the place is cleaned. We are getting purified. We are purified. The place is also getting purified and the place is purified. After purification, the flowing grace is flowing and filling us and the place with the purity, sanctity and divinity. We are getting filled. The place is also getting filled. We are filled and the place is also filled with the purity, sanctity and divinity. It is the Lord Shri Babuji Maharaj who is sitting in the heart. The heart means where I feel love and dub, wherein the divine light presents. The Lord is meditating himself upon himself, permeating entire self and pervading entire existence. With the prayer to the Lord Shri Babuji Maharaj, I continue my meditation this way. Prayer. O Lord, Thou art the only the existence. Thou art the only the truth, that truth of that existence. Emerge in this self. Just turn to the heart, to him, gently, and engage the mind with smaran of Ramchandra, Raghavendra. While viewing the Lord sitting in the heart, meditating himself upon himself, continuously, get absorbed in him. The objective of meditation is the Lord Shri Babuji Maharaj. The comprehension, to say now, it is the Lord Shri Babuji Maharaj only is meditating himself upon himself. The Lord is existing. The Lord is conducting. The Lord is living. With submission. Conclusion of this meditation session. Having received the grant of meditation with a gratefulness-filled heart, I reach again to the holiness holy presence. I reiterate to myself there presence and I humbly submit my completion of adaptation and meditation. Therefore I seek their kind attention for my adaptation of affirmations and doing the meditation of the omissions and commissions and requesting their corrections accordingly. I seek humbly their pardon for the lapses and lacunas in application, and I humbly pray to strengthen my resolve not to repeat the same and make me to remain steadfast on the path. With the prayer I seek your permission to conclude this session of meditation. Amen. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Affirmations. Comprehension and purpose. Affirmation means reiterating to yourself the eternal truth. The existence of Brahman and you is the eternal truth. You means human. Mrityorma Amritangame. The Lord is present. It is like a spark. Ignition at the place where you feel lub-dub of the heart. Means you have begun your practice in the presence of the Lord and in your heart. It is imperative and uncumbrant upon the practitioner to ignite and initiate his being every time in everyday practice, and this ignition and initiation should be in the form of experience, bhasa. And when it occurs, then only the practice begins of that time, and it should happen every time of his individual practice, and at no point of time he cannot take it for granted that it is there and it is happening and proceed with his practice. The Lord is present, it means he, the Lord, is beyond time and space, means you are in that state with the Lord. This principle that, beyond time and space, got enacted as principle by His presence. Further, it means, it is beyond Bhuta, Varthamana and Bhavishyat, i.e. past, present and future. In the presence of the Lord this principle i.e. past, present and future cannot emerge. It is a constant state. It is the Lord who again makes the division in the time and that division become the principle. And the principle is past, present and future, and it is the indication of the limitedness having the terminals of beginning and the end and also the middle state, Akasha, space, is the one in which all the gigantic dance of the time takes place. Which is the holder. By the command of the Lord Sri Babuji Maharaj, we are all meditating, in His presence and by His command, which is an order accepting it as such, as a sacred duty, with the commitment, having the essentials of the commitment like sincerity in effort, honesty in the approach, devotion for the duty, dedication for the purpose and sacredness of the act, with the purity of mind, heart and thought in this noble deed of meditation. This affirmation when absorbed in the system, a sort of sublimity with humility is expressed in His seekers, being and in the being. Now by the kind grace, love and will of the Lord Sri Babuji Maharaj, my Acharya Deva Mahatma, Samarth Sadguru, Paramapujya Sri Raghavendra Rao Sahib is emerged and felt. My humble salutations and prayers to Thee. Benign is Your presence. His will is formed in the process of making me in the place to exist as proper and befittingly so. As to sit before Him and to meditate is initiated. In this waiting period, engage your mind with the smaran of Raghavendra, Raghavendra, and continue for a while, till sufficient strength and force is developed in the smaran. And also, by way and means, the process of cleansing, purging and purification is initiated. And, all sorts of grossness, impressions, wasteful thoughts, complexities, impurities, dirt and diseases, darkness and solidities, i.e. mala, vikshepa, avarana, are going away from my constitution in the form of smoke and vapor through my back. Application of seeker's will to be made and he has to exert his will to remove the mala, vikshepa, avarana from the end portions of his body and throw away from him. I am getting cleansed and cleaned. The place is also getting cleansed and cleaned. The place means his abhyasis, body also, in and out, and the surrounding area. Befitting and properly means the descendancy of my Acharya Deva Mahatma Samartha Sadguru Paramapujya Sri Raghavendra Rao Sahib, himself sitting before the Lord Sri Babuji Maharaj. You are just a faint witness. I is erased and effaced. Self has become null. Existence become almost void. Mind, the other phase of conscience, or Siamese twins, transformed as an imperience, receiving reflection of the divine light, thereby emerging as an entity of existence, thence become proper, when continued to exist till the time that very divine light begins emerging and exhibiting itself in that entity of existence, when, after absorbing sufficient amount of divine light, which becomes befitting to emerge, conscience, imperience of discipleship, which takes the form of discipleship, then emerges the state of Raghavendra Rao Sahib. When completed and matured, the descendancy of him, Raghavendra Rao Sahib, takes place, and the descendancy occurs because the Lord, Sri Babuji Sahib, is present in form and real, and he, Raghavendra Rao Sahib, descends only to sit before him. The Lord, Sri Babuji Sahib. Cleansing means purification of your constitution of unwarranted things. Cleanliness is civility. Cleanliness is next to godliness. Purging means removal of deeply embedded, unwarranted, uncongenial and improper things. Purification means bringing in the civility in the constitution with the proper and congenial conduct of the constitution, as well as filling the voids. Deep voids, ravines and valleys emerged due to the purging with the divinity, thereby completing the process of purification. While this purification process is on in the spirit state, an imperience gets generated of refinement of energy with the aim of transformation of the energy. Momentum of the energy with such a velocity sets into motion, moving upwards with the surge. Sets into existence of forgetful state, of doing and of process and of the presence. Resulting into mild absorption, a kind of withdrawal state due to the intense inward pulling into that process of surging, resulting into losing the mind state, conscience and the empyrean state, bringing out the state of statuesque with the perfect. Silence and stillness may be named as absorption with the state of forgetfulness. When this state gets completed, brings out statuesque state. But all the processes are in full and in motion. When this process starts receding gradually and emerging a befitting and proper state to sit before him, presents Mala, Vikshepa, Avarana. There are three forms of energy states presented and experienced on the pathway of journey towards infinity by an abhyasi or sadhaka, primarily being as a human. Mala, Vikshepa and Avaran, which are forms of energy, presented in incohesive way or uncongenial way, almost obstructing the onward journey due to their conductivity and as obstructions, and they themselves become obstructions in that form and existence, in reality and in relation to the realization and for thereafter journey. Mala is that form of energy of amalgamation of Panchabhutas and born out of Panchabhutas, in the form of matter of energy. And Vikashepa is the form of energy and became the source of conductivity of forms of energies in incohesive way and unbecoming and uncongenial way of conduction, born out of Pancha Tattvas. And the Avaranas are unison form of energies with the principle of bonding in unison and existing that way. The energy named as Avarana and became one form, as third force of form of energy, born out of unison of Panchabhutas and Pancha Tattvas, and presented itself in a very fine form of existence as if it is lesser than veil, rather transparent than the transparence, very near to the Atman, or as if it is the Atman. As if there is no difference between the very Atman and of its existence for the insight, leaving no distinction or difference of its Avarans existence. Mala. The word Mala is derived from Nirmala. It presents the meaning as that is not Nirmala. Mala is devoid of Nirmala. It is not giving any meaning of derogatoriness of its state when in relation to human existence. When this state of energy state due to its conductivity becoming unbecomingly in an individual or abhyasi, thereby becoming as an obstruction, produces the need for purification by way of cleaning, by adaptation of the method of cleaning, affecting the needed changes in the Mala state of energy, so as to make its conductivity congenially, producing cohesive atmosphere for an abhyasi on the path of his spiritual journey and to achieve the objective of meditation and to be helpful to remain on the path firmly rooted, thereby increasing the faith of the method of the Lord and his mission. And also it helps him to increase his self-confidence and develop clarity of thoughts and actions. Vikshepa. The next state of energy presented is Vikashepa. The word Vikashepa means energy in action in a concealed way, conducting unbecomingly to the cause, producing imbalance in the existence and born out of imbalance. And born one is also imbalance. Avarana. Avarana, the word is indicating the existence of something and that something is of some other. thing. Other than that, the original existence, and this original existence is no more that original. And with the original, there is a new form of energy permeated and pervaded with that original, and also formed rings of energies from the lower state and lower form of energies, and with the amalgamation of those energies got the upward surge from one lower state to higher and further higher to the point of original existence, and became one with it, as if it is almost the same, gaining such an amount of transparency and oneness, and became almost impossible to separate from the original existence. This new element, that is named as avarana, grossness, permeation of like white cloud of gaseous form of energy with utter and utmost density into the entire system, born out of essence weightiness pounding of constitution. Result, loss of discrimination, becoming bereft of sense proportion. Impressions, transforming individual compound essence or substance by infusing through the utilization of mediums of impressions, e.g., visual, audition, touch and taste, smells, thought, mind, of things of becoming and unbecoming, congenial and uncongenial. Result, as directionless, pleasure-seeking and pleasure-mongering. Converting the life is a medium of only enjoyment, like using surgeon's knife to cut vegetables or to kill, instead of keeping it in a sterile condition. Wasteful thoughts, strengthening the directionlessness further, making an individual as a wayward or weathercock, sailing to the winds, unable to fixing the goal, going in an opposite direction to the guidelines, i.e., against the guideline of fix the goal, rest not till the goal is achieved. Complexities, conditioned individual system and constitution, gives birth directly to the complexities, unreal understanding, unwarranted interpretations, adherence to incongenialness, non-cohesiveness of purpose, aim, goal of human life, unable to become simple and plain and natural, is the result. Impurities, which are devoid of purity, the purity of thought, purity of mind, the purity of heart, purity in awareness, lack of conscience in thought, action and deeds, contrary to the purity, in such thoughts, action and deeds, engaging himself, as if the conscience is not existing, produces and results into inhuman, cruel and evil acts and states as per the definitions of the civilized world, harmful and dangerous to the society. Dirt and diseases. Impurities produces dirt, which state is named as uncleanliness. Uncleanliness produces perfect unhygienic atmosphere. Cleanliness is civility. Cleanliness is next to godliness. To remain in the civil society, a human has to maintain cleanliness, which is a prerequisite essential. If it is not there, he is unfit to remain in the society, because such a state produces diseases. Here the spirit became dirty and diseased personification, which produces ungodliness, converts the person as demonic, e.g., dirty thoughts, dirty minds, diseased psyche, damned spirits resulting into damned soul, by such thoughts, acts and deeds, which are against the basic precincts of civil society and civilized world. Darkness. The light of life is extinguished. The bloodbath is the result. Death is certain. Gets birth by the dark thoughts, due to the darkness-filled mind from the dungeons of darkness or pitched darkness-filled hearts. Such beings realize their sovereign state, and they are rightful member citizens of that world, becoming incapable of eating away the civility, sanity, humanity, threatening and shattering away the principles with which the universe is running. Ability to absorb and extinguish the godliness. The substance of divinity could become a sumptuous meal to this darkness. No escape for the human being or the entire human race from this. No reprieve can be given except by the kind grace of Him. Solidity. Without, bodha, i.e. mudha, murka, gardhabha, like an oxen with the quality of dead wood mind, is the state of his being. He is incapable of understanding the meaning of the words and understanding them, interpreting them. Failure to evolve awareness, non-existence of conscience, forget about the empyreans, no word called discrimination, such is the state. Result is becoming headlong, headstrong, awkward, crude and crooked, turned and twisted, bent and dent. Personality, personification like a rock. Right and correct are the basic casualities with this personality. His living is lesser than the vegetable living. This initiated process of making me and the place to exist is proper and befittingly, so as to sit before Him and to meditate, is completed. The state is emerged, felt and continued. When this state gets completed, brings out statuesque state. But all the processes are in full and in motion. When this process starts receding gradually and emerging a befitting and proper state, to sit before Him, presents. It is the Lord Shri Babuji Maharaj who is conducting this meditation session in form and real. I am sitting before him and I begin the meditation. Now, my Acharya Deva Mahatma Samartha Sadguru Paramapuja Shri Raghavendra Rao Sahib has descended and is sitting before the Lord Shri Babuji Maharaj. You are almost non-existent existence, with a faint perception of perceiving, paving the pathway for the Lord to absorb the entire state. By that very commandment of the Lord Shri Babuji Maharaj, we are all being seated in the ocean of His grace and meditating. And the grace is flowing in the form of silent currents through us. That flowing grace is flowing and taking away all sorts of impurities and wasteful things from us, as well as from the place. We are getting cleansed and we are cleaned. The place is also getting cleansed and the place is cleaned. We are getting purified. We are purified. The place is also getting purified and the place is purified. After purification, that flowing grace is flowing and filling us and the place with the purity, sanctity and divinity. We are getting filled. The place is also getting filled. We are filled and the place is also filled with the purity, sanctity and divinity. Sitting in the ocean of His grace, with this state and due to the silent currents of His grace, passing through, sets into motion of surge of energy with high refinement, transforming itself as a new kind of energy, literally happening and practically experiencing, descendance and emergence of the grace, in the form of vibrations from above to the down, i.e. your entire self and existence. A proper and befitting state is emerged now for the Lord to do meditation. It is a total and complete, null state, and perfect void. Thence, the Lord emerges to fill the void, and sit at the point specific of the heart's lub-dub, and begins His meditation, meditating Himself upon Himself, permeating and pervading, and continues His meditation. It is the Lord Shri Babuji Maharaj who is sitting in the heart. The heart means where I feel lub and dub, wherein the divine light presents. The Lord is meditating Himself upon Himself, permeating entire self and pervading entire existence. With the prayer to the Lord Shri Babuji Maharaj, I continue my meditation this way. The presence is with the light. His presence is with the light. The fogs the mind with the mist. The light dispelled the clouds of darkness of non-understanding. The true and real understanding descended in the mind, seeped into the conscious, absorbed. A new understanding, a true comprehension, emerged inner. That emerged comprehension is He the meditator. He is the meditation. He alone is the result of meditation. What is meditation? He only knows it, due to the Lord having begun his meditation and due to his presence. The divine light emits from him to show you the path, to guide you on the path, to infuse in you the light which becomes the life, thereby transforming the I, self, and your existence, and your thought form existence. And also getting absorbed in him, allowing and remaining the Lord in the state and posture of meditation and meditating, and he alone is meditating. Prayer. O Lord, thou art the only existence. Thou art the only the truth, that truth of that existence. Emerge in this self. Prayer means, prayer is to speak to God, truthfully to speak to God. A conjuncture state between me and him, the Lord. When this state is achieved, the state of audibleness emerges. That falls in the sphere of him. Prayer is possibility of emerging two-way communications. He is turning down, and you are looking up. Thence prayer goes up, makes you turning upwards and turning to him. Prayer is a serious, sincere and honest attempts to establish a link with him, with the submission and surrender. Having love and devotion with dedication. Prayer is making him to feel your commitment in entirety, for the cause. Prayer is a state of extreme helplessness. Without him, for him, who becomes the need for your existence. Without him, you will not be able to exist anymore, any further. Hence the prayer. Prayer goes up, blessings comes down. Attaching oneself to the Supreme Being, i.e. me, is the true worship. O Arjuna, said Lord Krishna to Arjuna Deva, the one who worships the Lord within the heart is called a yogi. The Lord resides always in the hearts of yogis. Yogi Hrudyana Gamin. The Lord is existing. You, that thought form of existence, is gone. Gone with the winds. The Lord Sri Babuji Maharaj is sitting and meditating himself upon himself, permeating entire self, pervading entire existence. I is not there, self is not there, existing is not there. Of you, Lord is absorbed in the meditation. Now the prayer is realized. O Lord, thou art the only existence. Thou art the only the truth. That truth of that existence. Emerged in the self. The self, now the universal self. The being is universal being. That is the existence. And that is the only existence. Is present now. The Lord is existing. This is called non-existent existence. And also non-existence existence. The Lord is conducting. The existing means Lord is completely absorbed and meditating. The word conducting here means he is actively engaging himself in every action and momentum. At this juncture of the Lord is existing. The practitioner about to conclude or getting conclude the meditation session. But it is not truly and in the real sense conclusion of the meditation session. The Lord is living. Non-existence existence, that too is erased. That too is gone. The naturalness of conduction is so natural because of his strength of remembrance, maturity of remembrance, yearning of remembrance. When it's upheld, then reached to the point of or pinnacle of getting break away from this orbit of existence. The fall of body or structure becomes inevitable and it falls dried leaf falling from the tree. Thence it may be called as Lord is living. Practice of the method. Begin and do your meditation before sunrise for about 45 minutes to 1 hour. After sunset, when you have some leisure, spare about 45 minutes to 1 hour for doing evening meditation. Practice of constant remembrance during the wakeful state, when you are awake. With the help of Nama Smarana. Bedtime prayer. To sit for bedtime prayer before going to bed. Sleep. Spare 15 minutes to half an hour for prayer and get linked up to the divine in a prayerful state. Thereby acquire the sleep state, while gently turning to your heart, where you feel lub-dub, feeling and experiencing the Lord. Prayer. O Lord, Thou art the only existence. Thou art the only the truth. That truth of that existence. Emerge in this self. For housewife, it is essential and advisable for her to do the meditation whenever it is convenient. At her leisure, but not necessarily before sunrise and after sunset. And it is essential for her to attend to all household chores, including attending children and elders. In constant remembrance of the divine and as a trustee. The cooking and serving should be done in constant remembrance and also reciting the prayer. Due care to be taken for the cleanliness and hygiene while cooking, serving and preserving the food etc. For children, teach the child the prayer and make the child to recite the prayer when it wakes up and before going to bed. Sleep once or twice. Caveat and validation. When a man sets himself for a higher truth and greater purpose of a human life, he invariably stumbles upon innumerable methods which might promise him as the gateway for his objective. He may come across, cutting across knowledge streams, the magnificent and marvelous thoughts and means with the deep profoundness of its existence of superior thought of supremeness, as if the whole world opens itself with the abundant richness of the content. It has as its treasure as an always opened gate to find the treasure trove of the truth. But the reality is that his life is the most precious and it is short and sweet. His time is sparse and limited, and his powers and abilities are also limited, and when compared and in relation to the countless and innumerable means and methods surrounded him in a spherical way, all gates opened all while, and if he perchance tries to attempt to test numbered means and methods, perhaps he may not be in a position to test them fully, accountable of them in toto. But it is certain that he remains inconclusive, incomplete and weary he becomes for the very quest of higher truths and greater goals. Maybe, mostly resulting into disappointment, disillusion and dejections. Under such circumstances the quester thinks and forms the opinion that to know what I am, to know what I have in realizing them of their wonderful and magnificent artwork of the Almighty. So fabulous they are, so rich they are, so valuable they are, so precious they are, and cannot be found such species as a human and also his planet Earth nowhere in the universe, known or unknown universes. The quester was awestruck of his own findings, and he firmly rooted the deeply felt awe of preciousness so as to protect and preserve, come what may, as the primary or rudimentary obligation towards himself, by himself, for himself. This very situation for the wise aspirant is. He is at the center, and endless are the pathways in a way his quest is at standstill back to square one. It demanded from him deep introspection at first about himself, as he is confronted rosy picture of means, but he is unaware about its effects, about its bearing upon himself primarily. Hence he sets himself again that what he is, what he means, in the quest of his introspection. First he realized that he is the body of a human comprises of organs, limbs and parts and functions. As they function the body conducts. Functions are qualitative and quantitative. Conducts also qualitative and quantitative. He understands for acts and actions the body works, and it works as a one. And he understands the body needs the food, sleep, and the identity is the fear, and the cohabitation is for its continuity. He deduces in his thought any practice he undertakes, it has an effect upon the body, though his endeavor is for higher truths and greater goals. He cannot think about his quest as an independent one, excluding his body, and any realization of a means has transliteration of effects upon the body, and the utilization of the body as a one is core essential. The Lord Christ said, "Life is not flesh and blood alone but also spirit." Apart from the body is the one. he realizes two fusion of energies. The first fusion of energy is born out of qualitative and quantitative functions of organs, limbs and parts, and also, as the body is, the one, of its conduction is qualitative and quantitative. The above-mentioned both set of fusion of energy exhibits as one. Another set of fusion of energy is energy's presence he perceives in the perception is with the conscious. Expression of the perception is by the thought. Means of perception is the mind and effects of it felt in the state of emotions, and he inferred it is affecting the psychic state and the source, for it is generating from the source, and the source is the spirit, and all drawn impulses from the conscience, the soul. Now, he deduces in his thought and concludes that this set of fusion having one is having an instrument. Another is a medium. Another is source, and another is the existence. Mind is the instrument, and the mind has known and quoted as four states: chitta, buddhi, mana and ahankara. For the above-mentioned instrument, mind's body is the Brahman. Through the brain it manages the first two sets of fusion of energies. Medium is the conscious. Flowing energy is the spirit. Receiving and interpretation center of perception is psychic state. Thought, the power, is an expression agent in one sense, as it is primarily power by itself. It has ability to give a shape, form and structure, and can be called as nucleus. Conscience presence emerges in the quest as an imperience to the quester, and he concludes the presence of conscience, a true center and real functionary. The vista of gigantic and dynamic in nature of his other being, which the quester terms it as an inner being, presented itself to him. The thrust of this realization sends quivers and shocks to his being, molded and shaped his understanding and comprehension about his life and living. In the light of newfound land of understanding, he further deduced the quester that while he initiate his quest by adopting any means that he has to take into consideration that above new found land of understanding, thence only he has to initiate the course of principle of options of means to realize higher truths and greater goals.